Thanks for coming to my micro drawings channel to check out my most recent drawing. I drew Charles Schulz's Snoopy versus the Red Baron. There I had the pencil, Q-tip, and quarter for reference. I'm starting with the Copic Multiliner 0.03 black pen. And with Snoopy, and well, with most characters, I always like to start with something with the face, facial features. I figure that's going to be the trickiest part, and I'll work from that. In this case, I chose to start with his goggles. So that's the darker black there, surrounded by the border, the outline of the goggle. And I went from that towards the, I suppose it'd be like an ear hole, so they can hear, I suppose, with their flying helmet on. And then I drew down from that to get the side of the helmet, or I don't know what that'd be, a leather flying hood almost, but at any rate, and then came around the top of that. So I've got the back of Snoopy's head in there. There's a Q-tip for reference to show how small the drawing is currently. Then back with the Copic black multiliner. Now I'm bringing Snoopy's nose out in front and then curving down, and he's got kind of a gritty, I don't know if it'd be a grin really, but his teeth are showing. His teeth are bared, I suppose you'd say, because he's right in the middle of this fight. And there goes his nose on him. And from there, I put the teeth in next. And then I'm bringing the rest of that hood down and starting to work on the scarf, the red scarf that will be flying out behind him. There it's tied around his neck. There goes his scarf. Two lengths of it fluttering in the wind behind him. Eventually I'll get to the Copic sketch markers. In the video here today, I'll show you what the broad chisel end looks like. It is not the end I use the fine tip end instead. There I'm working down Snoopy's back, adding his tail and the spot on his back. From the side, it's just a little sliver of black on his back. And there I'm starting to bring in his hands. They're stretched out in front of him as if he's grabbing the, I'm sure I'll get the terminology wrong, but basically the steering controls of the fighter that he is piloting during the battle with the Red Baron. So I've got the two hands stuck out in front of him. Then I'm working down to add on his back legs, or his bottom legs here. He's straddling his doghouse, of course, which is his fighter machine. So they're just adding the little toes on his bottom of his feet. And there I'm starting to draw the doghouse out in front of him and out behind him. Then I'm just putting the quarter again back there for reference, so you can see, Snoopy's whole body easily fits inside the head of George Washington on the quarter. Now I'm bringing down the sides of the roof of the doghouse. And there's 3 different sections, so I'm just lightly putting those in so that I'm getting it the appropriate proportions on that roof. And just bringing that down to connect that. And then just finishing a little bit off on that roofing. And then, of course, you need to add the bullet holes. The Red Baron has taken some shots at him, but Snoopy's still in the fight for now. And there's the bottom detail of the roof of the doghouse. Then from there, I'm bringing down the walls of the doghouse. Again, just coming in equidistance from each side there. And again, it's divided into 3 parts. The siding on the doghouse is a little closer together. And there I'm adding some illusion of some grass there. And I'll come back with the green marker down there. Of course, I had to add the gun or bullet holes in the siding of the doghouse as well. And there's a little bit more grass. Thanks again for coming to the channel. Please consider subscribing and sharing if you haven't. There is the Q-tip again for size reference. So about that, the length of that cotton swab is what Snoopy is from the top of his head to the bottom of the doghouse. There's a blue Copic sketch marker there to show you that. And there's the fine tip, but I thought I'd show the chisel tip too. I don't use those ends too much. But this is, the blue is the ear hole in his flying hood, I guess. Someone can correct me in the comments, and I will not take any offense to that. Next, I'm getting the red, and besides the red, just have the green to go with. So in this case, I'm using that fine tip end of the Copic sketch marker, and I'm working that tip right up to the black line that I drew previously. I don't want to hold it there too long or it'll bleed through. And in a little while here, I'll rotate it. So again, I'm just working right up to that line with that sharpest tip of that fine tip end of the Copic sketch marker. There we go, getting the side of the doghouse. Now I'm rotating it so that I can again push up and work right along that black line. Sorry, it got out of focus for a little bit here, and that's because my hand was in the way. I noticed that after a little while and got it back into focus, so please bear with me. So there I'm working on the scarf flying out behind him and the roof of the doghouse. And there I realized that, hey, I better get this thing in focus so you can see it. So there we go. Thanks for sticking with me this long. We're getting close to the end. So there's the rest of the color going in on the side of the doghouse. And I'm working it in a little jaggedly into the grass there. And then the easy part, just coloring in the rest of the doghouse. These are alcohol-based Copic sketch markers, so you can actually blend the colors together, but on my drawings that are so small, I typically don't have a lot of that happening. Some of my drawings I will add blended, make a shadow or blend a couple different colors to give that 3D effect. So there's Snoopy upright again. I'm getting the green marker next. Whoops, quarter first for reference while I'm grabbing the green marker. Again, you can see it's all covered up by that quarter. And there's the Q-tip as well. There's a pencil as well. Just kind of trying to give a bunch of different references. And then here comes the green grass. And I'm just lightly putting that in there. I'm not worrying too much if it goes over the black or not. It's more that illusion that there's some blades of grass down there. And then the next step here coming up, we'll be putting today's date, the 23rd of June, 2020, and my initials. And there we go. There's Snoopy versus Red Baron. And I'll put a quarter down here for reference. And there again, it covers the whole thing, and a pencil I'll add here as well. Thanks again for watching. Please subscribe and share if you haven't. Hope you enjoyed it.